see that in the picture, which is why I got annoyed. So if you're offended by the female body on Women's Month, well, then you have some problems in explaining to do.
You tell him, Aid.
Yeah. But
I'm
I don't know.
offended
It could
or
be that
grotesque, but
or somebody who doesn't like me because I was like, this is the second time our page has been targeted by something offensive and it's I don't know. I don't know what I'm
I
saying.
think there's enough reasons for everyone to hate each one of us, honestly. So who knows?
Yeah.
Whoever's out there trying to ruin us, we know who you are.
It's fine.
No, we don't. But we know someone is. Someone's out
Well,
there targeting us.
yeah, because they didn't come after Lance, and that's the issue. Lance posted it and nothing happened to him.
Oh, yes.
So I feel like it's gotta be it has to be a target of some sort. So whatever, it's fine.
Who knows?
I
I
told you,
don't
you two are the
care.
most popular ones out of the group. I don't know why you guys even think it could be anybody who hates me.
I
Plenty of
mean,
people
with
hate you both.
popularity comes haters. So I know you don't know about this stuff, but maybe one day.
I
Um,
mean, again, you two are the most popular ones. I love you both. I'm enamored by both of you. So, why would not somebody else be?
I don't know.
See?
Speaking of, I talked
Mm.
to uh Alpha Steve today, and he will
Wait,
be
which
at
one is Alpha Steve?
It's
The one I
the
that's
like?
actually a great
the tan
question.
one.
Oh, the one I like? Okay,
The
good. Oh,
Tanner one?
is he
Hmm.
coming to
He
Spooky
will be at
Empire?
Spooky
Oh,
Empire.
he's coming to Spooky Empire. Okay, I'm
I don't
excited.
think I don't
Anyway.
think Jersey Steve's gonna go. I mean, I don't know. I don't know yet, but Alpha Steve. I call him Alpha Steve because Jersey Steve is very much like I'm Alpha, blah blah. So just to piss him off, because that's what I do. I call the other one Alpha Steve.
Oh my God, could we do like
Collab these
a
tits.
collab at the Spooky Empire?
Hmm.
Look at Lance is like, absolutely not.
Lance can hold our purses while we collab with Alpha
Lance is like,
Steve.
I'm the only hot one on the show. No.
Oh, that's not even true. Hey, those guys are very muscular and very put together very well, and they love weights, as Mikey and Doug does. So, hey, to any man who's out there, I will never body shame you. Do you, motherfuckers? Do you?
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. If you have rippling arms and a six pack, don't worry. Lance won't body shame you guys. Be at peace with your hot body, everyone out there.
100%. I love it.
But at any rate, this is Slashers, your favorite horror podcast about your favorite horror media. It's me, the only person in Texas, according to Lance earlier today, Mikey, joined by my esteemed colleagues, co host, and cohorts. She's here again. She was too spooky for the Bermuda Triangle. They sent her back. Welcome back, Age, to the program. And Lance, who apparently we're still mean to because I listened to the review of The Crow and somebody still has some shit to say about how we treat Lance like he's freaking Helen Keller in the attic hiding from the Nazis or something. I don't remember the story, but so sorry still.
Again. Love you, Joe. Thanks.
Mhm. I didn't even say his name. No more will that name grace these lips.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh yeah, say hi to the mutant goons from beyond, everybody.
Well, I mean, our esteemed colleague over here that everyone is just enamored by. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Lance. I'll let you take the floor.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Let me tell you what Lance did to me earlier.
Oh god.
I'm running around, very busy, and he
Mhm.
texts me, "Hey, did you call me?" And I know Age's done it twice, where she's accidentally Facebook or Instagram called everybody, and it's really embarrassing because you don't know how to stop it. And I thought that's what
No.
I did. I was like, "Oh shit!" So I was like looking at my phone. I was like, "Well, it doesn't say that I called him." And I looked at the Instagram. I was like, "No, it doesn't." I was like, "No, did it
Well,
say I
this is
called you?" And what
the
did you
second
say,
time I've
Lance?
gotten a number from Texas and it's the same number. And like I was like, well, normally if it's like a scam thing, I'm like, oh. And I thought, well, okay. And it happened on a weekday. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe Mikey like hit me up from his work phone or something like that. Like he didn't want to waste the money on his phone. So he's like
Yeah,
calling
I
from his
only have
work
free
phone.
nights and weekends, everybody.
Uh,
Um,
You know,
like
that's hilarious you say that because my kids were literally asking me today. They're like, when you're little, did you have to pay when I was little? What did you have to pay for minutes? They were asking me how that was. Like, oh yes,
Yep.
we had to pay for minutes, you assholes. I didn't say that,
Mhm.
but I was thinking it in my mind. I go, you guys don't
Are
know how
you
to live in a
old?
world.
How
You're
old
not-
are you, Miss Santiago?
no, it's hilarious that you say that because actually Jake used to do that. Jake used to call me from his office phone and I wouldn't answer. And then like he'd call again, and I'm like, who the fuck is calling me from California? Because I stopped answering my California calls because I used to order wine from this winery there. And every time I answer, they try
Avoiding
to,
the bill.
no, they try to sell me more wine. I'm like,
Oh.
I don't want any more wine. I had
She
enough. I can
doesn't
buy
need any
I'm
one
more
sorry,
cheap.
wine.
wait. Did A just say she doesn't want any more wine?
Well, I don't need it shipped from California, but I can just go down to Trader Joe's and get it myself. So
Yeah, the
anyway,
$2 chuck.
I know, right?
and
Technically $3 chuck now.
Oh,
no,
inflation.
I don't
Yeah.
buy that. Okay.
Oh.
$6 or more. That's me.
Well, okay, I apologize, Lance. Maybe apparently that's how people think then. Because he literally said, someone from Texas called me, and I was like, Lance, it's a big state.
Okay, so Mikey's area code is 210. So what was the area code from your spam
It wasn't
call?
that. So, but I
Okay,
had
so
no
that's
idea
what I'm
where the
saying.
number
If
was
it
coming
wasn't
from.
San Antonio,
Oh
then
my
Google
God.
it. Google it. Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
It's
That's
okay.
how
I
you know Lance is a
appreciate.
Gen X.
No, it was
Hey,
it
you
was
know
very
what?
sweet.
I tried to make sure I was going to get a hold of him and I wanted to see if he was all right and if he needed anything. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry for being so concerned about Mikey and his well being that I was
He
like,
has a
well, hey,
lot of
this doesn't.
reasons to be concerned if you check our text messages.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was caring and loving that I wanted to make sure he was okay.
It
Hmm.
is
So
sweet,
I'm
and
sorry.
I do love it because I know you have other friends in Texas. So if y'all are listening, just know that I was who he thought of first.
Yeah, it
So,
really was. I do have, and I have other friends in San Antonio.
oh,
So it's
well, it's
Oh,
okay. It's okay. I appreciate it. Um, Aid, Aid. I was gonna call you Adriana. What? How was your cruise?
the cruise was great. The cruise was a good time. Um, too many kids. Just
Oh,
want
you
to
need
say
to go on
that.
those adult only ones
I
or
know
the gay
I've done that
ones.
before, but you
You know what you
know,
should do next time? You should book an Atlantis cruise and not tell Dan that those are the gay cruises and just see how it goes. He would have so much fun because the gay guys would eat him up.
well, I
And
kept trying to go to the LGBTQIA parties on board because I'm like, those are gonna be fun.
yeah, but then they're
No,
mixed with straight girls, and those are the
it,
worst.
yeah, well, it's fine.
hence
It's
aid.
fine.
Exactly.
So all these special parties from all the passengers between 18 and 25. And I'm like, how do they know that I'm not 18 through 25? Like,
Wait.
how do
I'm
they
gonna call
Be
know?
you out.
careful.
I'm gonna call you out on this because
Oh,
literally we
Careful,
all know
England.
that you did a package to make no children near you while you were on the beach, and then yet you're going to be upset about the opposite age scenario where they're like, hey, we don't want any
opposite,
older people that are over fucking 25 hanging out with
opposite,
us. Well,
opposite.
I'm just saying is
They
25
don't
and
want
under.
no
May
old
doesn't want to
people
hang out with
around, is
anybody
what
in their
he's saying.
30s. So maybe just like you don't want to hang out with anybody under their 18 area because you're annoyed by them. So you're upset that they do it to you, but you're not upset that you literally paid for that to happen so you wouldn't have to be hanging out with them.
Folks, you've seen it live here. The
What? That's what I'm saying.
decimation of Adriana.
It's like the eye contact right now that I'm getting is like ridiculous, but I'm just saying I'm not wrong about that.
I think they don't know what they're missing, Aid. But as Lance so eloquently put, I was trying real hard not to call you Austin. I was like, what is wrong with my brain right now? I'm so sorry.
Your face was
As
like, I was like in my brain, I was like literally want to be like, uh-huh. Yes, Mikey. What were you going to say? I knew where it was going because I was like, I know you do it sometimes in your brain because you told me you do it. And I'm like, uh-huh.
it's been a while
I
since
never
I've done.
mistake your name for somebody else, Mikey.
It's because there's no one else like me.
Yeah, I only go from either Mikey or Mike.
Oh,
By
I know.
accident.
That's when I'm in trouble. But no, so 2012's Toad Road, directed and written by Jason Banker, starring Sarah Ann Jones and James Davidson, uh, executive produced by the one and only Elijah Wood. Toad Road. So you might think, hey, Mikey, you chose this movie. I didn't. It was Lance. What had happened was Lance wanted me to watch what we reviewed last week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you heard, you already know how that went down. A lot of subliminal messaging going on here between Lance and this film. But at first, we were looking at movies that were like, hey, it involves drugs, it's horror, whatever, whatever. We saw Toad Road. So I started watching it because I do my homework early. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of dicks in this movie. Cool. And then Lance changed the movie last minute. So I was like, let's just do it anyways.
Wait. Did we mention that dicks were still seen? Oh, maybe not dicks. I guess it wasn't. Never
There
mind.
was
Toad
gay
Road had more and
sex
more
in it,
dicks,
but
which is
yeah,
weird because the other movie was definitely queer horror.
it was kind of weird, but in a way because of like because this group of friends was definitely people that I've hung out with based off of the conversations we've had before,
Hmm.
the druggings and whatever. I saw a lot of dicks when I was that age with my friends and it was never in a sexual way. It was just either being stupid or like this person's so wasted and they tell you, oh, we'll go put him in the bathtub with water to wake him up. It's like, okay. Uh, okay, so this is gross, but I remember one time we were in PE and my friend got a water bottle and he put his wiener in the water bottle and peed into it. It was an empty water bottle. And he shook it up and he threw it in the gymnasium and it exploded and sprayed everywhere. So that kind of guy is the kind of guy that's in Toad Road. And the
Facts.
short summary of Toad Road, I can't even say it. The short summary of oh my God, Toad
Toad.
Road is this girl who is like super sweet and innocent, like me in middle school. It's like, I want to do drugs. And so she has a boyfriend and a girlfriend. I don't know what's going on. And she wants to do drugs, and the boyfriend's a druggie, the girlfriend's a druggie, and they're like opposite opinions. Yeah, do it. No, don't do it. So she does it. And she hears about, so this is red flag number one. Men, I don't care how cute the girl is. If someone's like, oh my God, there's this urban legend that if you go in the forest and trip acid, you'll see the seven gates of hell. Cool, thanks for telling me so I won't fucking go in the woods and drop acid. Like, I don't know what about that seems tantalizing to go look at. So she wants to do it, and so she drags the poor boyfriend along, and yeah, terror ensues.
The problem with your explanation is that there's more to it. She's not dating both of them. She's kind of like targeting the queer girl. I would say she's trans, but that was not a term that people
I
used. We were
I
not
was
gender
thinking
fluid
2012?
back in 2012. People were not throwing around gender fluid back then. But yes, she's gender
it
fluid.
was we called it, and it's still the same meaning, but was it not ambidextrous? Um,
I mean, I can see
what's
that.
androgynous? There you go.
Androgynous.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because
she's androgynous.
I didn't know if they were trans either. Because literally, like, looked like a boy, but then they started referring to her as she. So I was
Her,
like, okay, I guess
yeah,
she's
and her
a
name was
lesbian.
Whitley. Yeah,
Well, it's probably her last name.
I thought
Well,
it
is
was
that
a boy
considered
too.
tomboy
I
back
thought
then?
it was, yeah, it'd be more like a tomboy. Like I thought she was a boy too because there was one scene where she was talking to the other guy, and she has that
Flat
quintessential,
ironed Justin Bieber hair.
yeah, but Justin Bieber like flip to the hair, whatever. So I
Oh,
thought
early
she was a
20,000.
boy, but then when upon closer inspection, she wears her low-rise jeans, so you see her hips a lot, and then she does have boobs. So I was like, oh, that is the girl. Okay. I just thought
We
it was a very
actually,
young boy. Like,
yeah. And I remember there was a scene where they were walking, and I was like, that guy's got hips, and I was like, oh, never mind.
no,
Um,
yeah. But she definitely, so Sarah is like the kind of, she's a little uptight, not uptight in the sense, but she's clearly comes from they mentioned that she's a city girl, and she clearly comes from some sort of higher end background, right? And so she meets these people, she falls in line, and which you do in college. You meet, like I used to date a guy who well, Lance is friends with him, so you can tell everybody. But anyways, I used to date guys like that. So, but I was like a good quote good girl, whatever. But I dated
Okay,
these
well now I
guys
know the
like
story's not true. Now we know the story's a lie.
this girl was definitely kind of stuck up her own ass. Like she wasn't doing any of the drugs with them, but she started to see that they were having a good time. She starts to do the drugs because she wants to, while James, her boyfriend, tells her, I don't think you should, because he's right. You
Yeah, because
shouldn't.
he's like he does them, but he's also like I feel like the character is kind of weaning himself off of them because he's like
Yeah.
having these self-reflecting moments where he's like, I'm gonna do something with my life, I want to, get out of here, or whatever. So he's almost like if you were to look at the lifespan of drug usage for this guy, he was towards the end.
Yeah.
Um,
He was
I
at
mean,
the
he
end
was the
of
part of
his
biggest
that.
time.
fucktard of the group. I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, he was the one getting naked, getting smacked around. Like, I mean, like, he's a quintessential guy. You're like, fucking James. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, when
Yeah,
you hear that,
there's James Dick again.
I
yeah, like,
know.
we all had that friend. Like, you were like, James is naked again. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
we all have that person.
By the way, PSA: the hell is in Pennsylvania. Apparently, everybody.
Yeah, the
The
seven
entrance
gates
to
of
hell
hell.
Yeah,
is in
the
Pennsylvania.
seven gates are
Yeah,
literally. That's a real
I
story, though. Isn't that like that's what they basically
yeah,
saying? It's
it's
a
a
real
true.
place.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute, but this is why I disagree with you because later I think he starts to change his ways when he meets Sarah, and so he
Mhm.
realizes he can only have her if he starts to
Doing drugs.
shape up, right? Like have her for real. So where Whitley comes along, which is why that threw me off for a minute because she goes on the porch, like Whitley walks up on the porch with Sarah, like reading her book. And she's like, "You look cold. You look cold." And then first she kisses her, and then
She
she
comes
starts
off as a
hugging her.
creeper.
And I'm like, "What is going on?" And so I think that Whitley really likes her, but I know that Sarah is only using her, but she knows she can manipulate her to get more drugs. And that's
Yeah.
basically what she's doing. Because she starts kissing her and she's like, "Can we do some of that stuff right now? Can we
Yeah.
do that stuff right now?" Like that's what
She
you would do with
clam
any
blocked
guy
her.
that you kind of don't really like, but you're like, can you get me another drink? Like that's basically I mean, we've all done it, right, Mikey? So
Hmm.
I know that move. Like she's just using this poor girl. But also that girl is kind of creepy. Like she kind of comes off very
Lesbian.
not even
I'm
lesbian,
just kidding.
but like how a desperate guy would behave. Like when you say no and they just keep begging you and they're like, "But come on." And you're like, "No." And they're like, "But come on." Like there's so many guys who are like that. Like that's what she was
Hmm.
doing. So I didn't
Yeah.
like that
Like,
either.
yeah.
But whatever.
Sorry, Lance feels
Anyways,
really attacked right now. Um,
I don't know.
and just kidding. Read the urban legend. Let's give the audience what they came here for.
okay,
Mm,
so apparently they're
yes.
it's called the Seven Gates of Hell. It's a modern urban legend regarding locations in York County, Pennsylvania. Okay. And, having watched Always Sunny in Pennsylvania, I don't find
In
Pennsylvania to be
Philadelphia.
is it Philadelphia? Always
It is
whatever.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, but Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. Who cares?
Same
Anyways,
thing.
same shit, different day. Anyway,
District
but
kind of right.
there's a couple of versions of the myth, a couple of variations, but they believe that a mental institution used to be located on either Toad Road or Trot Run Road, depending on the source. The other one is that there was a doctor who lived on the property and like constructed these gates to keep people off of the property. But despite the popularity of this, and a lot of people actually go there to see this area in Pennsylvania, apparently it's privately owned and you can actually be prosecuted for trespassing, so please don't go there.
Or
Um,
do. Fuck
but
it.
I feel like
No.
a lot of people probably go there to do what they did and basically do drugs, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like all of this wooded area and it's pretty private.
If I read this article correctly from Vice, they actually did drugs. Like their tripping is
That's what
real.
I'm saying. And I think the
I
girl
know
actually
true.
I think it was like what's the terminology for acting when you're actually like
Oh, method acting?
yeah, method acting where like I think a lot of them were just doing the thing because you could kind of tell. I mean, the scene where they're literally in the cave, like the one
Yeah.
guy who was like, I thought we were here to hang out, not to fucking get all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I thought we were just gonna like probably drink and whatever. And he's like, I don't really want to do the drugs. And I remember like you see that scene, you're kind of like, there's always that guy who's like kind of like, hey, fun's fun until like you're just being ridiculous, and now we might accidentally die because
Yeah.
we're on these drugs. And then like you can kind of tell all the kids were like, let's not do this, but let's do it.
Well, that's one of the advice that they give her. I think it was her that James gives her is like, well, when you do acid, you don't want to do it at home. I was like, you don't want to do it somewhere you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, a cave is the worst idea. We used to have a cave near our house, and we didn't know because we lived in the new development in the north side of the city. And then, like, the news was like, oh, they found this cave in this park, whatever. So, of course, all of the kids, because it was by us, would go in there. And it was creepy because you had to, like, squat and, like, shuffle in, kind of like the descent for like 2 feet. And then it would open up into this big cave. And I was like, cool, this is where we'll do drugs. So, I understand being stupid and not understanding the dangers of doing all that. But what I was originally going to say before is watching this movie, I was like, I would have loved if this was a Blair Witch sequel because it's not found footage, but it comes off as found footage and it gives the kids a reason to be in the woods without the same Blair Witch stuff. And then like you can kind of work the angles of the hell gates and then whatever. The very end, like what happens when he passes through the gates, of course, wouldn't work. But like if you were to do more of like a traditional Blair Witch thing, because I was getting, you said Blair Witch and kids, I was getting Blair Witch and Blair Witch 2 combined.
Right, I see
Um,
what you're saying.
yeah, and so I was like, this is a amazing sequel to Blair Witch 2. I mean to Blair Witch if they would have just did the ending a little different. But I my I it wasn't even that big of a deal, but like the whole movie was worth it when you actually see the gate. That
Yeah.
subtly freaked me out
Mm.
because I don't know where I've seen that, but I've seen something like that before. Where it's like you kind of see something there but it's not really there. It was done so well.
Yeah.
I would love to, how like Halloween initially started off, it was gonna be like it was more of a seasonal thing. Like
An
Michael Myers was
anthology.
just a story,
Yeah.
Yeah.
within a caveat of other stories.
An
I would love
anthology.
if, yeah, I would love the idea of like a Blair Witch scenario where they have, because I feel like every town and every city and every country has one of these kind of scenarios. I
Yeah.
would kind of love if somebody actually made an anthology of these stories.
The whole movie is an allegory for drug addiction. Each gate is basically taking her further and further into a world that she's never going to get out of. Like she's she is completely
Like addiction.
transversed in this world. Yeah, into addiction, of course. And
Right, right.
he even says to her that that's what Toad Road is. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And he's like, and he tells her, he's like, that's how drugs are. You just like he even explains to her when he's talking to her in the kitchen. Sometimes you wake up and you don't know where you are. Like it just keeps getting worse. Like it never gets to a point where it stops. Because it's one thing like if you're smoking weed, it's one thing every now and again. I think if you're like, eating a mushroom and you're hanging out, but like when you get to the point where all these people do is just sit around and do drugs and that's it, then you know it's going to turn into something much worse further along down the quote unquote Toad Road. So there's that. Also, I'm looking here at the movie, and for some reason, it is rated PG-13.
I don't think so.
That's what I'm
There's too
looking at
much
here on
dick in it.
Google. That's what I'm saying. I've seen way too much penis for this to be PG-13.
maybe
So
maybe you're
why?
misconcepting the idea of dick being shown because it doesn't get happen that often, so they don't even have any rules for it. They're like,
Well, maybe we all were on acid when we saw the movie and we actually didn't see dick. We just saw what we wanted to see. But you know
just
what?
all
The biggest
just
disappointment is,
bush.
yeah, the biggest disappointment is this was not about the racetrack in Mario Kart. But
Mhm, I know.
no, actually, I don't know if I'm the only one. Does I thought this was called Toad Road because there's that whole thing about licking a toad and tripping.
Right.
Oh
Anybody
yeah, I
else
thought
think of
that.
that?
Yeah, when you said the title to me, I immediately thought, oh my God, somebody's gonna eat a
Licking
bad
toads.
mushroom, a
Yeah.
toadstool in the woods. Just like I was thinking when you told me this, what is the one where they're all in the woods and they have sex at the tree? What is that one?
Oh, Harvest
Harvest
Lake.
Lake. Yeah, that's
I
what I
was
was
like,
thinking
oh,
it was
that's a
gonna
drug
be.
movie, and Lance
Which
hasn't
is
seen it.
amazing because you two love that movie for some reason.
Have you
It's
seen it, Lance?
No, I have, but I mean,
It's
like,
great.
and two, by the way.
There's a
no,
second
you
one.
know, there's no. He's thinking of
Oh, the make.
don't fuck in the woods. That's what you're
Oh
thinking of.
no, not that one.
Oh,
Not
I did
that
like
one.
both of those. It's like,
I still need to watch those. Do those involve drugs?
Yeah, yeah, they do. And
Okay,
and
maybe Patreon. When it came to acting, the filmmakers actually wanted to get real life friends that weren't actors to kind of play off each other, and they did. And they were even saying that during filming, like in all friend groups, like some of the people were like beefing with the others. And so they are basically trying to hurry up and get it to where it was just Sarah and James because some of the friends within the group are fighting with each other.
oh, well, there you go.
again, sounds like kids because it's like that's the same exact same scenario.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing to talk about like drugs in this day and age because it's like everything is bad in extreme doses. Like, we have marijuana. That's probably the most common one. And, studies are out there. It's not really that dangerous, just it's a danger to your waistline. But also doing it all the time, doing it all the time to where you kind of like overlook your responsibilities and stuff, and it can kind of turn you into like, a couch potato and, can interfere with doing what
Yeah.
you need to do. But that's like the very like minimal. When it comes to these other drugs like acid, LSD, things like that, they have benefits medically, but kids are not
Microdosing.
smart enough. Yeah, kids are not smart enough to be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to. And I think a lot of things, the reasons why drugs are so abused is because the people that abuse drugs are the ones that are looking for an escape, which my thought process when it comes to drinking is drink to don't drink to feel better, drink to feel even better. So it's like don't mask something with something else, if that makes sense. Like if you're celebrating, cool, let's drink, let's, I want to feel great. But if I'm like in the corner crying because something terrible happened and I start drinking, it's not going to be fun for me or anybody around me, I can tell you all that. And I think
I'm
that's where
like
you get,
mental note.
yeah, so be careful, Lance.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
like
don't think I'll
in
be
my head, I'm
crying in
like,
Florida though.
so in May 8th.
Yeah. So if Mikey starts crying, we're not going to give him drinks. But no, and so I think that's kind of where the abuse happens. Whenever you're trying to basically self-medicate yourself, being like, I don't want to think about this, so let's do XYZ. So it's very strange because I'm always a fan of like, it's your body, do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
But just
But
don't go looking for the gates of hell, everybody.
no, please don't.
Or do.
Oh my God.
So we're
I'll tell you
coming
one
up.
gate of hell. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, go ahead. Abe.
I just kind of wanted to drop some acid and just see what happened.